Mommy, please tell me a story.
Let me tell you a good story. Jagan was a wealthy man, but a miser to the last degree. He ate well himself, but never entertained a single guest in his house. One day, three village boys, Sudhir, Samir, and Prabhakar, were talking among themselves. Can anybody ever induce Jagan to entertain him to a good meal? Sudhir said, laughing. I cannot, said Samir. I can. Give me some time, said Prabhakar. One day, Prabhakar approached Jagan and said, Sir, I have come to seek your advice on a very important and private matter. Jagan was about to blurt out, How do I care for your private matter? Why should I give you any advice free? But before he had said so, Prabhakar said, It is private because it concerns 3,303 gold coins. Others may laugh at me. Come and take your seat, Prabhakar. First tell me how you are keeping. Jagan showed him the best share he had and dusted it himself with his towel. You know, my old house is being demolished. I don't understand why any of my ancestors should bury gold coins under the floor in a corner, and that too 3,303 in number, Prabhakar said as if to himself. Jagan's heartbeats ran faster. Prabhakar, now tell me more about it in detail. Yes, sometimes people did bury wealth in olden days. There were no banks or safe lockers in those days, you know. Now come on, say more, said Jagan. Then he added, Should I bring a glass of sarbat for you? We have fresh lemon. No, thank you. I will come in the afternoon. I have to go and cook for myself as my mother is away. I came just to fix a time with you for discussion, said Prabhakar. Don't you bother to cook, dear Prabhakar. Can't you partake of your lunch with me? Proposed Jagan in great earnest. Jagan asked his cook to prepare some delicious dishes. Prabhakar went on, narrating in detail. It was a moonlit night. The workers who were demolishing our old house had gone away. Suddenly I felt like going into the ruins. In a corner of our courtyard was seen something like the dazzling rim of a brass jar. Prabhakar went on narrating in detail about the wind that was blowing, about the spade he used, and all such things. A sumptuous lunch was spread for both. Prabhakar went on with his narration while eating. When I found the gold coins, I don't know why I thought of handing them over to you, he said. Jagan shouted for his cook, Give Prabhakar more curd, more halwa, more curry and pulao. They finished eating. Handing over a pan to Prabhakar, Jagan asked, Now tell me, my friend, what guidance do you seek from me? You are a wise man. I just wish to know what this dream of mine means, said Prabhakar. Dream? Asked Jagan, raising his voice. Do you mean that you haven't really found any gold? No, sir. What I narrated to you is a dream. People say that dreams have special meaning. What does my dream mean? I wonder why any of my ancestors should bury 3003 and Jagan was rooming with anger. Your dream means that I am a donkey and you are a monkey, he growled. I see. Who else could have explained my dream in such a way? Now, I must ask some wiser man why this dream should mean that you are a donkey and I am a monkey, observed Prabhakar as he went out. Back among his friends, Prabhakar told that how he narrated his dream to Jagan and how he ate his lunch in Jagan's home. That's the end of the story. Thank you for listening. Let me tell you a small story. Salesmanship. Viraya's footwear shop had a good location, facing a crossroad, which none would miss. Naturally, he expected some good business. It was so in the beginning, but gradually it waned. He wondered why many people didn't step into his shop, or if ever they did, why they went away without buying even a pair. They found that the slippers and sandals in the shop were either too small or too big for their feet. No wonder they went away disappointed. If this went on for some days, Viraya feared he might have to close shop forever. He thought of devising ways to improving his business. One day, he received a customer who selected two pairs and wished to try them on his feet. Somehow he felt that they were too tight and was about to go. Viraya stopped him. Sir, these are leather sandals, and so may take a few days to loosen. I feel you should take them. The man was struck by Viraya's argument. All right, I shall take one pair. He paid for the pair, took the packet, and went away. A little later, another person came with his little son. I want to buy a pair for him, said the man. Viraya showed them a couple of pairs, and the boy tried them out. Father, they are loose. They don't stay on my feet. The man was about to go away with his son when Viraya suggested, Sir, they may be loose now, but in a few days your son will find them comfortable. After all, he is growing day by day, isn't he? The man appeared convinced by Viraya's argument. All right, I shall buy one pair. As father and son left his shop, Viraya wondered whether he had not already learnt salesmanship. That's the end of the story. Thank you for listening.